I'm joined by our latest evictee, Danielle! You know, kind of a very unexpected eviction, I would imagine, this evening. How are you feeling, and how does it feel to be out?
I don't think it was fair. I really don't think it was fair, hence why I didn't say goodbye to Cav or Zoe, because they knew that I was struggling this week, and I did make effort with all of them, and I felt cheated, to be honest. I was so convinced it was a public vote, and I would have preferred to have went if the public went to take me out. They've seen me progress and how I've developed, and these two characters have just came in and not made a fair judgment in my belief, to be honest.
Why do you think they've picked you?
I think they
because,
picked
as you
me.
said, you've kind of made effort with them.
Yeah.
You know, you obviously we saw run-ins with Bianca.
Yeah.
But she's not there. She didn't have the decision tonight. Obviously, it was the other two. So why do you think? They could have picked anybody?
I mean, I think it was purely because they thought that, you know, maybe... I mean, I just had a very, very difficult week, and I don't know how many times I explained that to both of them. And I had a very long chat with Zoe last night, so for me, it must just be personal.
Do you think maybe that's why they picked you? Because it had been a difficult week and they thought you would be better leaving?
Possibly. I mean...
Or is that maybe an easy cop-out excuse?
I think it's an easy cop-out. I mean, when you announced that the two were going to make the decision, Ashley held my hand and she was like, thank God, because they know how much Ashley wants to go home.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was a bit of question about, oh, well, if you do get to evict someone, Ashley said, you know, know that I really want to go home.
Okay.
And although I said, you know, I found it difficult this week, I was purely basing that on the public's perception that they would want to get me out this week and not the two people that don't know me.
OK, well, as we've mentioned, you have had a pretty difficult week with the arrival of the new housemates, with the task, everything that happened during Armageddon. Specifically, Bianca, she was insinuating from the start that you weren't the person on the outside, that you had appeared to be on the inside. So how did that make you feel?
It made me feel just personally attacked. Really, I didn't think it was fair at all. I don't know where she's getting these impressions from. I felt it was terrible for me to be in the house for 6 weeks and then these three strangers come in and just judge me on something they've either read in the paper or whatever. I just felt it was totally unjustified and really quite rude, to be honest with you.
When they walked in, you did seem quite nervous when you saw Bianca, and you did say that you'd kind of chatted online before. Yeah. So your paths had obviously crossed.
Just very, very briefly. There was literally, I didn't know her personally, I just knew her to speak to her on Twitter about... I think it was just because we both have chihuahuas. It wasn't like an in-depth thing. It was mostly because we both have chihuahuas. But the whole thing just really unsettled me because I just felt that the whole week I just really, really struggled.
Since you have been in the house, quite a few things are circulating about you. There are glamour shoots that have popped up. There are interviews that appear to be you talking in certain lads' mags. So can you see possibly how some people would think who you say you are and the image that's portrayed of you sometimes is slightly contradictory?
I mean, to be honest, I was prepared to come in with the view that I am going to be speculated a lot when I came in here, because at the end of the day, I am in quite, you know, it's a difficult industry that I work in. So someone that has my beliefs and has my morals is instantly going to be attacked because people think that you should have a certain stigma attached to you. So I was prepared for that. What I wasn't prepared for was to have someone in the house and not even have the decency to take me aside and explain to me, by the way, I've seen this. It was just all circulating around the house, which I just thought...
And we've seen Chris say that tonight as well in the diary room. You obviously won't have seen that, but he said, you know, I take Danielle for the person I'm meeting now, not what she does on the outside, not the job that she may do, not whether it's right or wrong what she's saying she is or what she may not be. Yeah. He's judging you on now. Yeah. You know, so, and I thought that was a really nice thing to say. Yeah. But I think probably where it comes from is maybe what some of the other people have seen and what we've seen as well. There are certain interviews where it's quite sexual, some of the things
Right.
that is talked about, whereas in the house, you have kind of said you're not like that, you don't talk like that.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is where the contradiction comes from.
With certain interviews and certain publications, your words are going to be twisted and they have to be phrased into a certain way, depending on what the publication's for. If it is for the lads' mags, they're not going to want a prim and proper girl to do an interview with them. It just doesn't
But
happen.
doesn't that contradict the kind of ladylike figure you give off if you're then kind of pretending to be somebody else? If you're not. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do.
I'm not saying that you're wrong for doing it. I'm just trying to
make a balance.
Figure out.
No,
can you understand
Yeah.
why it could be portrayed that way? Or
I
it
do
could come across
understand
to people
that,
way?
but I think the industry that I'm in, you're going to get a lot of speculation, and I think, you know, I have been true to myself.
One thing that was lovely was your relationship with Ashley.
Yeah,
You had such a great bond. Why do you think that was? What drew you to her?
I don't know. I just see a lot of myself in her. She's such a sweet girl, and we just have such a good connection, and we've been close literally since day one. She's the only person that's been consistent with me, so...
How do you think she's going to get on without you?
I think she'll be all right. Yeah, she's a tough girl.
Who is she? Like, should we only ever see her with you, really? Chris,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, she's kind of made peace with Helen, and she has you did start to integrate with the group a little bit more, and then 3 new housemates came in, and it all went a bit weird again.
Yeah.
Who do you think she will have now that you're gone?
Just definitely, you know, Chris and Christopher. She'll definitely stick with them, but I mean, she'll do well. She's a lovely girl.
I've got to ask you about Stephen and Kimberly.
All right, yeah.
Wow, what do you make of it all? You
Um,
seemed pretty shocked, Danielle.
yeah, I was.
I don't blame you.
I was shocked.
No one wants that going on in their bedroom.
No, definitely not. I think it was just so disrespectful and like really disgusting. And I think it was yesterday actually seeing like the protection on the dressing table, and that just threw me off the edge. I was
Did
like,
you
I just
kind of
can't deal
click
with this.
then as to why it was there?
Yeah.
I know you'd had the conversation with Kimberly.
I had a conversation with Kimberly, and I still I believed her and everything, but seeing that on the dressing table, I was like, oh my God, I just wasn't prepared for that. And then you had the situation with Bianca last night, and it was just one thing after another. I was like, I just can't deal with it anymore. I don't want to be in that type of environment, you know.
Very quickly, let's talk about Winston, because there was footsie, there was moments in a bed together. Not like that, I don't mean like that, chatting. Could have been another romance. Did you like him?
No, I think it was just a bit of footsie, really. That's all it was.
Passing the time with Winston.
Yeah.